What's going on, lads? Welcome back to the 4 Ounce Podcast. Today I'm joined by Robby Drought. Robbie, do you want to give yourself a little introduction?
Yeah, well, first of all, anyway, it's Drought. You got that wrong.
Oh,
So,
Drought, that's my bad.
um, there's no bother. I'm from Cork. I'm after setting up the IFC. Everything is going with the plan so far, and we hope to have the first show in September.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of what you're doing. I'm really looking forward to see how it progresses. Tell me, you're a fighter yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm active at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And how'd you first get into fighting? Started from a young lad, or was it when you got older, or what?
Well, to be honest, yeah, I started when I was 6, really. Just hanging around the amateur boxing clubs. Kind of just grew up in it, really. I was never really interested in soccer or football or anything like that. So I started at a young age and I was in and out of it all the time. I did it, I suppose, from 6 to 17, really, in and out of it. And then I moved on to Thai boxing after that. And where I'm at now is Bare Knuckle Boxing.
Yeah. And what's your plan with the legalization of bare knuckle here? Is it legal, or are you still going to have to fight to get that, or what will that work for you?
Yeah, in Ireland, there's no regulating body. There's nothing like that. I've been on to I'm going to be sanctioned by the WBKBA, the World Bare Knuckle Boxing Association. They are situated in Norway, and Viking Promotion. The guy owns Viking Promotion, so we're basically going to be sanctioned under them.
That's lovely then. And you're still looking for talent, as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, I've only announced it last week, so we're only doing this for last week, and I'm after putting it out there pretty much, looking for all fighters with a stand-up background, I suppose. It can be anything from boxing, kickboxing, Thai boxing, anything like that. Anyone who thinks anyone who thinks that they'd be able to do it, I suppose. But yeah, all fighters are welcome from all fighting backgrounds.
Right. And what's your plan with the future? What do you think it'll make it big? Yeah, think it's going to be a big promotion.
Yeah, my dream is to bring it right to the mainstream. If you look at in the UK and if you look at the USA, like it's booming in them places. They're on television, they're legal shows. They've got great fighters. So basically, I'm going to do the same thing with Ireland. We have a lot of great boxers, and they go through the amateur route. Some of them go professional. This is just another option, basically. And like I said, Ireland has the best fighters in the world, so I'm pretty confident like that. Once this starts, the guys are just going to love it, and it's going to take off.
I certainly think it will take off. Yeah. So what's the story? There'll be loads of different weight classes and belts and stuff. I assume it'll be done standard boxing format.
Yeah, pretty much what you said. Each fight, like non-title fights, are going to be 3 2-minute rounds. Title fights will be 5 2-minute rounds. Pretty much, yeah. It's if you get knocked down during the fight, you have 10 seconds to recover, just like in professional boxing, I suppose. So yeah, it's there's going to be a 3 knockdown rule. If you get knocked down 3 times in any of the rounds, the fight will be over. Yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at now. Just trying to get the fighters at the moment. I'm only after putting it out a week ago, and my phone has been hopping. To be honest with you, I'm after getting everything in place at the moment. I'm after sorting out venues. I'm after sorting out medical teams, cut teams. I've all the safety stuff in place. It's pretty much going to be very, very good setup when it gets going, and we're going out on pay-per-view for the first show. With no crowds and all this COVID stuff, we've decided to put the first show behind closed doors, and we're going to go from there.
Yeah, lovely. It's great to see that there's good interest in it, and you're a big fight fan yourself, I assume. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I've always loved boxing. Like I said, I kind of grew up in it. All my friends, we were all doing it, like, and I love boxing till this day. But when I discovered bare knuckle boxing, I was saying, fuck it, sorry for cursing.
Oh, you're
I
all
was
right,
just
no
saying I'd
bother.
love to give that a crack. Yeah, so once I saw bare knuckle boxing, like I just saw it and I was thinking to myself, I'd love a shot at it. So this is going out to all the other fighters like who might be watching this, like, and saying the same thing. When you see it on the telly, like it comes across, it looks probably, I suppose, in some people's eyes, it might look brutal or something like that. But when you're actually in there, you're pumped up on adrenaline, so it's just like any other fight, whether it be Thai boxing, kickboxing. You're pumped up on adrenaline, so you don't stop to sit around and you don't kind of feel any pain, things like that. But yeah, since I discovered bare knuckle boxing, like it's absolutely amazing. Like,
Yeah. Since I got big into bare knuckle boxing there as well over quarantine and stuff, watching fights and different things, BKFC mainly. And yeah, it's great to watch. It's very interesting, it's high pace, a lot of good boxing, nice, great sport. Like I'm big into it myself. And I seen what you're saying there about people think it's some people might think it's barbaric or it's brutal that they're bare knuckle and all, but I actually seen Joe Rogan was even saying he'd like to see the UFC go back to bare knuckle stuff because he reckons it's actually safer than with gloves. Gloves are only there to protect your hands, and that without them there'd be less strikes to the head going and going. Well, what do you think of that?
I actually agree with him. Like, I've done all sorts. I've done amateur boxing, I've done kickboxing, Thai boxing, and now I've done bare knuckle boxing. So I've done them all. And coming back, like everybody agrees with that because professional boxing can be anything from 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds. And it's basically the hands are covered in padding. So, I mean, like the boxers are actually beating each other around the place, like for the duration of the fight, whether it be 12 rounds, whatever, and each round is 3 minutes long. So it's constant blows to the head over and over again with the gloves on. But where the bare knuckle comes in is that the rounds are shorter. They're 2 minute rounds, and it's less amount of rounds as well.
Yeah,
So as far as the damage goes, then it's only all kind of superficial. You know what I mean? Like it's just cuts. And like for instance, if you're fighting with the boxing gloves, you're taking them punches to the head. But with the bare knuckle, the fights seem to be over faster as well because it can be stopped with a cut or something like that. So I have to agree with that point that it is a lot safer, all right, than going 12 3 minute rounds in boxing with gloves. And like you said, they're only there to protect the fighter's hands. Whereas bare knuckle comes, some people as well mightn't hit as hard because it's bare knuckle.
yeah,
But yeah, I have to agree with that statement. Like bare knuckle is a lot safer. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think that could be one of bare knuckles' biggest I suppose one of the things that might hold it back from breaking through at the start, people like casual fans or people who don't watch enough fighting that don't understand stuff like that. And are you big into the UFC yourself? Would you watch that type of stuff now, or is it just boxing for you?
Not really, no. Like I tell you, I've only watched it like when our own Conor McGregor was fighting. I'd only watch his kind of fights. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not really into the UFC to be honest. It's I like the stand up,
yeah,
but in the UFC, the ground game, I suppose I'm just not familiar with the ground game myself. I don't understand the true beauty of fighting on the ground and jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. I've always been a striker, so for me personally, I like to watch boxing, kickboxing, bare knuckle boxing. You know what I mean? They're a lot more
yeah,
exciting if you ask me because when people go to watch fights, they want to see stand up. You know what I mean? They want to see like fellas fighting. They want to see them throw down. They want to, they don't like, they don't want to see people rolling around on the floor. No, I know it's an art in itself and it's a beautiful art to a lot of people. But for me personally, it's all about striking for myself.
yeah. No, yeah, I get that. I was a bit the same now when I started really getting into watching fighting. I didn't really start getting into watching fighting until I was about, suppose it would have been about well, the UFC was definitely when Connor was hot, and he was Chad Mendez, and then there was Aldo and stuff like that. That's when I was really getting big into UFC. And I was kind of in and out of boxing as I was a child. My older brother was big on the amateur scene for a while, Yeah, I understand that there's a lot of people that boxing fans or stand-up fans that when they're transitioning into trying to watch, the UFC, they don't understand the whole ground game and all. But, as you said, it is an art in itself, and it kind of, you have to understand it to enjoy it kind of thing, you know what I mean? But I seen on one of your Facebook posts you were talking about making a bare knuckle team, the Celts, and they were going to go off and face like the Saxons from England and different things like that. What's your plan with that then?
Yeah, you're bang on. Again, you just got the name wrong again. It's the Celts.
What, the Celts? Sorry.
Just basically, yeah. The Celts, yeah. You should know this, like, you're Irish. Like,
I know.
This right, like, you know what I mean?
That's my bad.
But yeah, there's no panic, bro. Yeah, so that's where we're at. What I'm going to do is, from the IFC, I'm going to, the first show, right? The plan is for it to go ahead in September, right? Then I suppose there's not going to be any more shows till after Christmas, I suppose. We're going to just throw the first one out there, see how it gets on, see what way the fans take it. Me personally, myself, I think it's going to explode. But once we get into the new year, 2022, I'm going to be hoping to put 3 to 4 shows on a year. That is the plan. So there's going to be it's not just going to be one time thing. It's going to be active all the time, like the UFC, like the guys in the UK, like the BKFC. We're going to kind of keep it going, And as far as that team goes, the Celtic team goes, I'm basically going to be putting together between 10 to 12 fighters. And these fighters will range from all different weights, just like you said earlier on. We are going to have all different weights, different belts, all that kind of stuff. There's going to be it's going to go by, I suppose, how many fighters get in contact with me. But I have at the moment, I have a lot of stuff written down here, just with current fighters who are after getting onto me so far. So I'm matching at the moment. I want all fighters to get in contact with me. Anyone at all, anyone who's been a good amateur boxer growing up, gave it up. Maybe life got in the way. You had kids, you start to work, something like that, but you always had the fire in your belly to fight. I wanted that guy, you know what I mean? And as far as that team goes, then I'm basically going to pick my 10 to 12 fighters out of the IFC, and they're going to go to England, like you said. They're going to fight the Saxons. There's going to be a home and away leg, so we're going to go to England first. We're going to fight them on their soil. Then they're going to come to Ireland. We're going to fight them on our soil. It's basically kind of going to be, the way to describe it would be like a Champions League, I suppose. I'm setting up the Premier League in Ireland, I suppose, if you want to call it that. And then I'm going to, we're going to travel to Europe. We're going to go to Norway. We're going to take on the Vikings, and they're going to come back to us. We're going to Italy. We're going to Poland. We're taking on all these teams, and basically we're going to find out who's the best country, I suppose. It's who's the best bare knuckle boxing country in the world, I suppose, if you want to say that.
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, it's going to be very good. I mean, like I said, it all comes down to the first show now, and we're going to see how that gets on. We're going to just move forward from there, and I suppose we're probably going to be looking to put that team together maybe after Christmas or something like that. Everything is in place. We've got the guys in the UK ready. We've got the guys in Norway ready. Everyone is ready. It's happening,
Yeah. And what would be the best way for fighters to get in contact with you then? Is it through your Facebook and your Instagram?
I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. If you're looking on Instagram, basically just type in my name, Robby Drought, it comes up, and the IFC is next to it. On Facebook, it's just simply Robby Drought. But I have an IFC page also set up on Facebook. So fighters can get onto me through Facebook, through my own personal site, or they can just get on to join the page, the IFC page.
Right. Oh, geez, sorry. I'm gone lost there. I just have my notes in front of me and gone lost there.
I could talk about this. I could talk about this all day, man. There's so many plans going ahead, and there's so much opportunity out there for all these fighters in Ireland, as we know, Ireland, has got an excellent record for amateur boxing. It's got an excellent fucking professional boxers. When you look at all the world champions down through Ireland in professional boxing, you know what I mean? All through the years, Ireland, for a small country, we've got like a shade of a lot of good fighters. And when it comes to MMA, we had the best fighter in the world as well. So I'm pretty much just trying to do that for the bare knuckle as well. I just want all the fighters to get onto me who think that they'd love to do it. There's great opportunities for them, and we're going to make some Irish champions as well in the bare knuckle boxing, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know much about Irish fighters in bare knuckle boxing at the moment. Do you know, is there any big names over there in the big promotions? I know Artem Lobov in BKFC trains here. Is there many big names in the other organizations?
Yeah, there's well, like, all right. Let's be honest about it, right? First of all, you can't talk about Irish bare knuckle boxing without mentioning Jimmy Sweeney. Jimmy Sweeney is in the UK, right? He's signed to the BKB promotion, right? He's a 3-weight world champion. Jimmy's got like fucking, what he has, 30 fights, 2 losses. These 2 losses have only come by a cut, and the fight was an absolute war. I was there at ringside watching it. I was in Jimmy's, I was there, you know. And his second fight then was just another loss as well along the way, but he had a rematch and he won the rematch. So that's what I got to say. Like, I mean, like the best bare knuckle boxer currently, you would say, in the world is Jimmy Sweeney, like, and he's from Sligo. You know what I mean? So Jimmy, like, Jimmy is the man when it comes to bare knuckle boxing, like, you know. But again, he's living in the UK. He's on the BKB promotion. A great friend of mine. Like I said, he's the best fucking boxer in the world in bare knuckle, and he's fighting again there soon in about 3 weeks against an American lad. Yeah, so that's about it. You know what I mean? I'm looking for fighters like to come along, you know, and like who wants to be the next Jimmy Sweeney, basically, in Ireland, you know.
And are you going to be continuing your bare knuckle career as well as running the promotion, or are we saying it's the end of your career to focus on the IFC, or what way are you planning on running
it? No, I'm not finished at all. Like, you see, I'm currently active, right? So I'm after I have a fight coming up in July, but I can't go into details about it yet because it's not set. It's only been talked about and things like that. But I am supposed to be fighting in July myself, and who knows what's going to happen for the September. So I was thinking about putting myself on it as well. I'm not too sure yet. There's a fight there. Like, there's a guy I know there from Dublin, a good pal of mine there. He does the Litway, you know, the Litway fighting.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is, no?
Yeah.
It's basically Thai boxing. Yeah, basically Thai boxing with headbutts, bare knuckle Thai boxing.
Yeah.
So I'm. The plan is to put 10 fights on boxing, bare knuckle boxing. But there might be a surprise in store. Like I said, there might be a Litway fight as the main event with myself. I'm not too sure yet. But trying to promote and train, it's very hard to do. Like.
Yeah, I seen one of your, I think it was a Muay Thai fight before. It was with gloves. It was the one where your man tries sweeping you and you catch him midair with the left foot. I seen that there on YouTube last night. It was
kick,
great.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh man, it was unreal.
Yeah.
So it's like something out of a Karate Kid movie or something. I was blown away when I was watching it.
Do you know what? No, right? No one else apparently done it.
First I seen of it.
There's actually there's a story behind it. Yeah, well, you see, like it happened, right? Like, I'll just talk about it for a second. Like, there was a Muay Thai event in Cork in Ireland, and I was fighting on it. So I was in Siam Warriors. A big shout out there to Siam Warriors, Martin Harvey and all of us. But basically, I had a fight, and like I've practiced. Like, I tried it a couple of times in training and spar and things like that, right? But then on fight night, it just happened, you know. Like, I wasn't backstage saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this now if he catches my leg." It happened on instinct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what happened, like, was the guy, I kicked him in a body shot, right? I caught him with a nice right leg body shot. He caught my leg, and as everybody knows in Muay Thai, like, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get swept onto the floor. That's what's going to happen, right? But because I was in this position before, and I've done it a couple of times in sparring, what happened was that your man basically tried to sweep me, and out of nowhere, I was able to kind of jump up on the left leg and hit him with the left leg in the face. It was fucking the way it happened. Like, I mean, like, and this is 2 years later or 3 years later, I think. Yeah, 3 years later maybe. And it's still on every site, you know what I mean? Like, I still see it popping up today, you know. And it got something like fucking, I don't know, if you look at it on YouTube, there's like 500,000 hits just by people looking at that. But it's been on every single site as well, you know. It was showed on Fox News Asia. It was talked about on a podcast on the UFC. It made a lot of noise, you know, for what it was. But yeah, like fucking, I did that kick. And it still makes me, every time I watch it, it still makes me smile, you know?
Yeah, no, it was great. I was blown away watching it. And I was only after watching it, and I was on Instagram, and I seen someone post the same clip, and I was mad. It just goes to show the level of viral it got, like, you know. I had seen it just a few minutes later after watching it on YouTube, like. Yeah, well, I think.
Oh, so you watched it on YouTube first, and then you saw it.
Yeah, I was just because I looked you up to try to get some, you know, research and know what to say. I had watched one of your bare knuckle fights as well. I can't remember who it was with. It was a BKB fight anyway on YouTube, and I watched that. And then I was just, you know, scrolling through different clips and stuff.
There was two of them. Yeah.
And,
I was like, I was signed to the BKB team, like, in England, like. So I had 2 fights with them. The first one was against their British champion. He's still the champion, Chris Tresize. A big shout out to Trez. Trez was the crack. But yeah, basically, fucking, it was a 5-round war. It was my debut. So a lot of people say I won the fight, but it was really, really close. I went the distance. So for my debut against the reigning British champion, he was after something like 6 or 7 fights, something like that. So he knew the story, what he was going into. You know, I actually didn't. Like, I actually had friends of mine ringing me up saying, "Rob, are you crazy or what? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're going into bare knuckle boxing, you know?" And people, like, then when I announced I was fighting the British champion, they were saying, you're after losing the plot altogether. But it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You can't, like, you know, because I came from a Muay Thai background, and like, it was unknown in Ireland, I suppose, you know, to fight bare knuckle, because even though there's lads doing it up and down the country illegally and, you know, settling fights and things like that, I mean, like, it was like a big kind of a shock, I suppose, to everyone, including my friends and family. Everyone was thinking like, what are you doing, you know? So that's why I want to say this to the fighters out there as well who are currently thinking about doing this. It looks worse than what it is all I can tell you. Because when you're in that ring, right, you're pumped up on adrenaline, right? You're after training, you're after putting the time in, you know what I mean? Your body is physically ready to do it. But it's just the mentality, you know, like, I mean, because I was walking around London, like, I had to fly over to London. So I was walking around London, like, a couple of occasions thinking to myself, shit, what am I after doing? Like, you know, I'm fighting tonight. Like, you know, I kept kind of coming back to me, you know what I mean? But then when the fight night came, like, everything that happened in the ring was just natural, you know? It's like, I suppose you have to be in them kind of fucking surroundings, I suppose, or you just adjust, which, you know, you like, so that's what I'm saying. My body was physically ready for it, but it's just trying to get mentally ready, you know?
Yeah, the mental game is probably one of the biggest factors when it comes to a fight, isn't it?
That's it. Like, I mean, like, I've been at shows there, like Thai boxing shows, things like that, where some of the fighters, like, they can't handle the pressure, you know, like, they're backstage, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen 1 or 2 fights being cancelled because fighters can't come out of the dressing room, you know? I mean, like, it has it, like if you're in your club training every night of the week, right, and you're sparring over and over and over again, I mean, you're flying, right? But then when you go in front of a crowd or something, you know, when it becomes real, it's like, whatever's going on in your mind, right? Like, I'll be honest, you've every thought in the world going through your mind. You're saying, oh God, how can I get out of the fight? Like, it's like, right, you're looking at fellas coming in, getting stitched up next year, you know, bust open, like, and you're kind of saying like, oh God, what am I doing, you know? But that's all mental part of it, you know. Your body is physically ready. That's what you got to remember, like, because, like, however long you've been training, 8, 9, 10 weeks, whatever, for the fight, you're physically ready. Like, you know, you are ready going in there. So it's just a case of, like, calm the nerves in your head, which is very hard to do. But yeah, that's all I want to say really to any fighters considering moving into it. Like, you know, it looks a lot worse than it is. But the fights are over faster. They're shorter rounds, all things like that. You know what I mean? So all fighters, whoever want to fight bare knuckle in Ireland, get in contact with me on the IFC page, I suppose.
Yeah, well, that's everything I have to say as well, man. Thanks for coming on. It was great having you on, and I'm sure the future is bright with the IFC. And thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely no problem, Scott. Like I say, just keep an ear out because you're going to hear about this a lot. This is going to make a lot of noise. It's going to be the new, because bare knuckle boxing like is the new up and coming. It seems to be, it's taken off worldwide, you know, and it's the original form of boxing as well. You know what I mean? So I think that has a lot of fans as well. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people like would watch a bare knuckle event, say for example, maybe over a UFC event or something, you know, because people want to see action. They want to see, you know what I mean? They want to see two fellas go out inside the ring, best man wins, they shake hands after it, you know, there's no shit talking, there's no nodding, you know what I mean? We all get along, like we're all humans, we all just want to win, you know what I mean? So you don't want to cause any damage to anyone, you just want to win the fight, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a big factor as well, you know, it's probably the purest form of martial arts. It's the purest form of fighting, really. You know, bare knuckle, there's no bad intention. It's all well and good at the end, and everyone's respectful.
Yeah, well, you see, that's it. Like, I mean, like, there's probably something about beating the crap out of each other. Like, you know, the two of you kind of develop a respect and kind of friends for life. You know, if you ask any bare knuckle boxer out there, like, about their opponents, like, I'm sure they'll all say the same thing. You know what I mean? Look, we shook hands at the end of it. The best man won. There's no hard feelings. You know what I mean? You just want to win the fight, and he wants to win the fight. And that goes with any other sport, really, like, as well. You know what I mean? You just want to win the fight. You don't want to make no damage, no long-term damage to anyone, you know? So you just want to win the fight, get in there and get out, you know?
So that's it then, lads. Just make sure if you're interested in becoming a bare knuckle fighter under the IFC, text Robby on Facebook or on Instagram. And that's everything. And we'll talk to you all after. Thanks.